Under the direction of the newly formed team at Nintendo, Splatoon is the kind of product we've been looking for from the Kyoto company for a while. It's a new IP digging into new territories and combining them with the kind of Nintendo feel that we're all familiar with. While other Nintendo titles have multiplayer aspects, Splatoon is Nintendo's first title that almost completely centers around online gameplay. This means if you don't have a good connection, much of the game's enjoyment will be lost. The squid skate punk culture Nintendo has crafted for Splatoon drives home the laid-back tone for the game. The music, the arenas, the dialogue, everything wants to let you know that you should be smiling throughout the entire experience. It's as though the game is constantly saying, "Who cares? Have fun." As soon as the ink hits the ground, you realize that so much of Splatoon's mechanics depend on the terrain you stand on. Not only can you travel through your ink at tremendous speed, but the same ink hinders your foes and keeps them at bay. Proper ink placement will also allow you to scale walls and hide yourselves from enemies even when they're directly in front of you, allowing you to mount a surprise attack. Now, I know what you're wondering, are the gyro controls worth it? Absolutely. Looking around with the control pad feels like a third analog stick, with very little movement required, so it won't hinder the experience. If you feel disoriented, you can simply press the Y button to reset the camera. For those of you who absolutely refuse to use motion controls, there is an option to turn it off. Almost everything about Splatoon has the multiplayer experience in mind, and that includes the single-player campaign. You've been recruited by Captain Cuttlefish to run, swim, and blast your way through the Octarian forces to recover the stolen Zapfish. Here, you'll come across obstacles such as sponges, fans, and flutters, which really makes the most of the ink-centric gameplay of Splatoon. Unfortunately, you won't see them anywhere else, and that feels like a huge missed opportunity to spice up the multiplayer. Not everything is run and gun. Some levels will have you avoid missile strikes, while others pit you against the humanoid Octolings, which have the same abilities as yourself. You've got a splatter shot for this mode, but the power eggs found throughout the levels help unlock new sub-weapons, as well as upgrade the splatter shot itself. These definitely make the campaign easier, but they're hardly required to beat the game. However, since these upgrades won't matter in multiplayer, I never felt incentivized to get them. I did enjoy hunting down the sunken scrolls just to see what Nintendo had come up with about the world of Splatoon. There is a local multiplayer, the Battle Dojo, although there is not much to it. It's a simple one-on-one match where you must pop as many balloons as possible. You can't even customize anything beyond a pre-selection of 8 loadouts and 5 stages. My friend and I only spent a minute popping balloons before we decided that shooting each other was far more enjoyable. Again, this points to Splatoon's focus on online multiplayer, but I would feel they would be better off not even including the Battle Dojo. Online is where you'll be spending most of your time, and until you reach level 10, the only matches you'll be doing are the 4-on-4 Turf Wars, where your goal is to cover as much of the arena in your team's ink as possible. Fights only last 3 minutes, which is just enough time to cover the arena with ink or make a last-minute comeback. Voice chat is non-existent, which is no surprise with Nintendo. Strangers are one thing, but I would like to be able to talk with my friends online without reaching for third-party software, especially in this game where teamwork can be vital to victory. Games won't start until either 8 players join the lobby or the timer runs out. You have no way of backing out of this lobby, save for shutting down your Wii U. This becomes frustrating with the timer resets because somebody enters the lobby, leaves the lobby, or sometimes for no reason at all. Nintendo provides a mini-game called Squid Jump while you wait, but 25 levels of jumping can only get you so far. While you need 8 players to open a match, you won't need them to continue the fight. There are times where our team was suddenly 1 player short and we were backed up to our own respawn point. However, I still prefer that experience over twiddling my thumbs in the lobby. Multiplayer arenas are not large, and you'll get to know the ins and outs quickly. There are only 5 stages, and a random choice of 2 stages are offered every 4 hours. These stages are fun, but it's the different weapons and the team shuffle there carrying a lot of weight and keeping the gameplay fresh. I'm glad Nintendo will be offering more stages for free in the future. It is indeed clothes that make the squid, as each item contains abilities to give you the edge in battle. But you can't just waltz into these shops fresh off the street. Until you hit level 4, owners will kick you out simply for not being fresh enough. Hey, that's their words, not mine. Stronger clothing with more abilities will appear as your level increases, offering an incentive to keep battling. The abilities add just enough to shift your playstyle, but they're not enough to turn you into a one-squid army. You can place an order with Spike if you come across threads that catch your eye, but that service isn't cheap. I had to pony up $30,000 just for 3-star boots. That's triple the store price. The first time you walk into multiplayer, you're only going to have the Splattershot Jr., but you'll soon be able to work your way up to rollers, chargers, and blasters. Each of these weapons have a place on the battlefield, but the charger's effectiveness tends to fall flat, since you need to get uncomfortably close to the enemy to get a good shot. Later weapons have slight adjustments to their stats, such as increased range or how much damage they deal, but the real game changer comes from the sub and special weapons that are attached. Each of the sub weapons, from mines to sticky grenades, feel like they offer a specific advantage to anyone who uses them skillfully. The special attacks are powerful, but won't activate often, and they are far from overpowering. Once you hit the splatter zone in ranked matches, consider all of your previous strategies out the window. Your goal is to control certain areas, not the whole map. Suddenly, my golden arrow spray, which had decimated so many before, might as well have been a cap gun. The entire battle focuses so tightly on 2 spots, and you'll only be facing off against experienced players here, so the matches become far more intense than the happy-go-lucky turf wars. It's refreshing to see Nintendo try something new, and encouraging to see it done well. The plethora of weapons and armor makes sure players are always in for something new online, and the inclusion of the ranked battles are something that will keep competitive players satisfied long after the allure of turf wars have worn off. With a new IP and new playstyle, Nintendo's investment in Splatoon is one that pays off in a major way. Combining shooters and platforming seamlessly will be refreshing for both Nintendo fans and fans of shooters. Unfortunately, the single-player and Battle Dojo aren't enough to prop up Splatoon, and if your Wii U and internet connection aren't on speaking terms, you may feel shortchanged with this game. I give Splatoon for the Wii U a 9 out of 10.